Hey everybody, it's Mitch and welcome to my next live stream. Hope everyone is doing well. We're here. Sorry about not having that live stream Friday. My apologies on that. I will make it up to you guys by doing another one on Wednesday, which wasn't originally scheduled. Had trouble with my meds, so that's kind of what happened there, but I'm more or less back on them, and I'll be able to get fully back on them early tomorrow, so that'll be good. So I'll be all set and good for Wednesday. So sorry for that, but what's up, Matthew? How's it going, man? Good to see you here. And again, everybody, thank you so much for helping me get 2,500 subscribers. I really do appreciate that. That really does help the channel grow. That's why I do these live streams, is a thank you to you guys for helping me get there. Snagwolf, what's up? How's it going? Hope everyone's doing well. Again, we're just here talking about D&D as per usual, and and we will be doing another live stream Wednesday because, Fridays unfortunately had to get canceled because health reasons. Kind of sucks, but insurance companies be insurance companies, and it is what it is. Hope everyone's good. I have been doing better the last couple of days, so that's always good. I started feeling better fairly quick after I got back from the ER, so that was good. But it was pretty rough before that. Definitely was not able to live stream Friday. I was literally at the ER during that time. So, but I hope everyone's doing well. And I'm good at this point. So, And honestly, I would have been fine if it wasn't for freaking rules and regulations and healthcare. The way Medicaid and stuff is set up, it's kind of a pain. So, But and if anyone's got any questions, let me know. Feel free. We're happy to answer anything. Our healthcare system is a labyrinth to navigate. Yes. And when you got ADHD like I do, which is helpful for streaming, having ADHD, when it comes to just streaming itself, other than the being on time part, ADHD is mostly just beneficial for streaming itself. For everything else in life, there's a lot of downsides, but when it comes to streaming, weirdly ADHD super beneficial. Being the whole talking to chat thing and talking constantly. When it comes to healthcare, having ADHD makes it harder. In order to get ADHD meds, because it's a controlled substance, that makes it really, really hard to get ADHD meds because it is a controlled substance. And because it's a controlled substance, but that's what's needed for ADHD. So it really does not work. It just does not work for people with ADHD like me. It really sucks in a lot of ways having it. Like I said, when it comes to streaming, net positive, because it kind of makes multitasking with chat and doing all the things streamers do, which right now I'm only doing half of because I don't have, I'm not able to really use OBS with YouTube without paying. Kind of have to pick between that and Twitch, and trying to set it up with Twitch would be, with YouTube as well, would be kind of a nightmare. But task paralysis can be a pain with all you have to do in this system. It really, really can. When streaming, it's great because when you're streaming, generally the thing that you should be focusing on is really obvious, and it's whoever's talking in chat or whatever you're doing in game, it's pretty clear what, where your attention should be, and having your attention constantly drifting between the game and chat and like several different other things, that's normal and actually good and makes you a better streamer. But yeah, there's a reason why like so many streamers have ADHD. It's kind of a benefit. It's something that streamers tend to be a little better at. But yeah, also we don't have as many options in the real world, so we resort to streaming. So there's a few reasons for it. But that's also probably why you see so many streamers that are late all the time, because time management's hard for us. So yeah, just kind of a thing. But yeah, if you guys got any questions about D&D or anything, feel free to let me know. I'm always down to chat and whatever. What's up, Everett? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, just hanging out, chatting. Got everything set up, which is pretty nice. Well, that TV is going to be set up for a little bit. I'm going to have to go do something about that like partway through the stream, but yeah, it's currently set to it's currently set to do it's currently just playing Death Note in the background, muted and super low quality, so like I'm hoping that doesn't cause any issues. But yeah, like literally I can't hear anything. There's no sound in the room. I turned the volume all the way down on my TV, turned it all the way down on the iPod, which is playing through, so like I literally can't hear it. So what's up with the anthropomorphic animal template in D&D 5e? Don't know. I don't play 5e. I stick with 3.5. Don't know of a template like that in 5e or in 3.5 at all. Yeah. Trying to think of something. I meant 3.5. Anthropomorphic template in 3.5. I'm not familiar with it. Let me check. I can look it up. That ain't hard. I'm not sure what book it's in, but if I have it, I'll go grab the physical book. If not, I'll just stick with Google. Anthropomorphic. Let's play anthropomorphic weasel. Oh! I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about like using the awaken spell? Is that what you mean? Yeah, my guess is you're talking about with the awaken spell, probably, unless there's like another way to get it, because I've only ever seen it with the awaken. No, not the spell. The template from Savage. There's a template in Savage Species? I have Savage Species, but I did not know there was a template in there. I don't look through every page of every book, so I kind of skim them, and I never noticed that one. Let me see if I can find it. Savage Species. Yeah, that's not something anyone's ever asked me before or mentioned or anything. Just not that I read. If it's been in my comments, it was one that I haven't got to yet. Have you ever played in or heard of campaigns that cross universes? Not really. Perhaps like a Greyhawk campaign that crosses into Dragonlance or Forgotten Realms. That sounds really fun, and I mean, the game I'm planning on doing is a paid game. It has the possibility to do that. I'd probably do it as like each like universe is like a different continent. Like even if the regular like world has multiple continents, I don't know. Like I don't know how well they're built. Depending on how well they're built, I may or may not just make them different continents. And I'll try and find it in here. Advancing monster classes, basic monster characters. See if it's just like an early thing or something. Introductory monsters, acid tests, ability scores, intermediate monsters, special notes, advanced monsters, determining level adjustments, special notes, acid test, monster character building example. Trying to figure out exactly where it's at in here, because I'm not familiar with it. Templates, adding a template, talking about 111, maybe? Is that what you're talking about? Adding a template, when to add, reading the templates. Let's see, feral creature. Oh, so I've seen some templates. Feral creature, gelatinous creature, ghost brute, insectile creature, incarnate construct, monstrous beasts, multi-headed creature, mummified creature, reptilian creature, spectral creature, symbiotic creature, taratic creature, umbral creature, white winged creature, wraith, unity, multiple templates. Weird. Page 214. Okay. So not in the section not in either of the first sections I would have guessed. Seems like a weird spot for it. It's in the middle of some table. Yeah, that is a weird spot for it. Okay. Like right in between some tables. Let's see. Skills. Always neutral good. Standard challenge rating. Okay, then. Okay. So then it's got like a whole chart on page 216, 217. Interesting. So with varying level adjustments, ECLs, or varying level adjustments and hit dice. Okay. With the ECL adjustment anywhere from +0 to +12 is looking okay. Hard to say. There's such a variety. Like literally, like an elephant apparently is a +12, whereas hawk is a +0. In is that right? No, that's strength. Sorry, starting ECL, my bad. So yeah, they're not that crazy. So 4 to 1, so nothing too bad. I don't know, or like up to 5. I was looking at the wrong column, my bad. So yeah, you got like a 5 at polar bear, and so like 4. 3 level adjustments, 2 racial hit dice. Okay, that makes sense. I guess Ravenloft would be a crossover for many realms. Lord Soth being from Dragonlance, Aslan, the Lich from Greyhawk. I sort of answered my own question. Fair enough. I haven't played Ravenloft, but sounds cool. Is that like that board game one? That's super long board game that like you play once ever, and it has like stickers and stuff on it, and it's like D&D, but it's a board game. I think I know what you're talking about. I haven't played it, largely because it's kind of expensive for one game. But I think I know what you mean, because it's a board game. You break it out, and then like it's a game of D&D, and the board changes because you put stickers on it, and like how like everybody's game is going to be different because of that. Seems like a fun game. A little too rich for my blood, but I don't have anything against it. I would be down to play it. don't know if I would purchase it though, just because I don't know. I don't have that kind of money. But yeah, if someone else does, like, that's cool. And the anthropomorphic one, it seems like a pretty decent way to play like an animal if you wanted to do that. Yeah, probably a better way than to use the awakened animal, because awakened animal, it can be a lot. It adds like 2 racial hit dice, and yeah, awakened animal's really not a good template. Ravenloft was in second edition. That's just count Shard's Realm. It got 2 extensive board sets and a series of novels in the 1990s. I got really into it. Nice. Sound like it legit sounds really fun. I just not something I can afford, but it does look fun. I've looked into it back when I was treasurer at the local Dragon Club at my university. I was looking at buying like D&D stuff and then like board games and stuff. I looked into getting Ravenloft, decided against it. Just too much money, and I don't know. It just didn't seem like it'd be a good use of the club's money to have just as like, because the board games were like just as like a loaner thing. Basically, the reason why we had board games is for when the club, like if your DM didn't show, or if you didn't have enough players to show, but you still wanted to hang out, you could just borrow board games from, the club, and then you could just play board games instead. So, you could still have something to do and hang out, even if you couldn't run a game. So that was the reason why we decided to get those. That's actually my idea to do that. Because it was a problem that I ran into in my group several times where like we had like 1 or 2 guys show up, and it's like, well, it's not really worth just getting the game going with when only like 1 or 2 players show up. Let's just play board games. And they'd run back to like their dorms and get some board games for us to play. So it's like, let's have some club ones, in case other people have these issues. We also got like dice and a bunch of 5e books, because it was open system, but everyone else was playing 5e. I was the only 3-5 guy, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to get 3-5 books for them. We'll stick with what people are actually playing, because I'm trying to be responsible. I'm not going to push my stuff on other people. I love 3-5, and you guys, I assume, all love 3-5, because if you don't love 3-5, why are you here? I'm genuinely curious if you're here and aren't a 3-5 fan, because that'd be weird. If you are, that's cool. But I genuinely would like to know what anyone's doing here if they're not into D&D 3-5, so I can, maybe do something for them. I don't know, like make content. I don't know. Hags make cookies that are a little tasty in Strahd's Realm. Not sure I fully understand what you're getting at with that reference, but that does sound legit. Hags do seem to do that. I think there might be a reference to that specific thing in Baldur's Gate 3, which I am planning to start playing on stream on Twitch come Friday. I was going to start Wednesday, but since I'm still going to be streaming here Wednesday, because I had Friday's stream, had to postpone it due to medical reasons. Starting streaming back over on Twitch, we'll probably have to wait till Friday. But that is something I'm thinking of doing. And I think there is a reference. I think Auntie Ethel might have, I think there might be some cookies that she gets for you at some point. I think that is a thing. So, yeah. But I'm not super familiar with Strahd's Realm. But yeah, my plan is, I do think it'd be really cool to have like a crossover game though, like to make a world that, it has, Greyhawk over here. This like big continent section is Greyhawk, and then down here there's like the Dragonlance world, and over here it's the Eberron world, and it's just like each little like each major continent is like based on like a different setting and stuff. I don't know. I think that could be kind of a cool thing. I don't know how well it would work. I'd have to like look into the different settings and see like how compatible they are with an idea like that. I'm sure some are more so than others, but yeah, Hansel and Gretel cookies, or more to the point, cookies made from them. Ah, gotcha. I don't recall hags feeding you other people. The hags mostly, or like the same with Hansel and Gretel, they'll eat you, but they don't feed you other people. They feed you legit candy and legit food, fatten you up. You know, sort of like, well, for the most part, we don't feed our cows cow. We feed them grass, and then we eat the cows. Kind of same thing. Uh, what Mad Jester? What's up? What are your thoughts on campaigns that go into epic, like level 30 or 40 plus? I think those are really fun. I enjoy those. They're a lot to deal with because players at that point are really strong. Like they're to the point where, you know, they walk into a major city and the guards are like, oh crap, he's here. We got to be careful. Like when you're at those kind of levels, you can mess up a big city. Now there might be some that, you know, they have other high level guys like you there, but it's going to be somewhat rare, and those guys are going to be extremely well known. But yeah, like you have a lot of power when you hit those levels. Now, when you start going into those levels, that's when, you know, maybe you know, waging war to create your own country might be a thing, or going to the, you know, other planes, like, you know, if it's a good campaign, going into the abyss or into the nine hells to, like, you know, take out the demons or the devils, or maybe even both. You know, that's when things like that actually become like plausible and like an actual like fairly decent campaign idea, where it's like, yeah, let's just go through hell and like fight our way through the nine hells with yeah, maybe there's like some sort of force that like traps us there and makes it so we have to like work our way down, or, you know, maybe things just like respawn after a while, and you know, so we have to like keep moving, and you have to, and the only place that you can like teleport in is to the first layer. So if you teleport out and leave, you have to start up at the beginning. I don't know, like come up with something like that to like, you know, try and make it so that the players don't try and cheese it and just like teleport back and forth. Yeah, something like that. You know, figure something out on like how they go through it, and then yeah, could be an interesting one. Although, I mean, with the Abyss, they're literally starting at random point every single time. There's no order to that. You could end up with you know, just getting a boss rush in the Abyss, or more likely you could have like, you know, go forever and not see a single archfiend. You never know. It's freaking random. Yeah, but like, yeah, that's the kind of adventures you could do when you get to like level 30, 40, is you start doing the more like epic and grand adventures, like taking on the forces of hell, like directly in their backyard, like taking the fight to them, or taking on a country in the material plane, or, you know, if you're evil campaign, going to Celestia and just like fighting the forces of heaven. Or, you know, maybe your campaign, a chaotic campaign, and you're like, yeah, fucking Mechanus. Let's take those Mechanus guys down. We don't like Mechanists. You know, like, you know, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah, but that's where you start seeing more fun ideas, is once you start getting into epic levels. Or like you create like custom stuff. Maybe that's when they're trying to become gods. So they're trying to like do quests to obtain dietic levels, or I guess not dietic levels, but dietic ranks. I generally convert them to levels just because it makes it easier. But like, but yeah, they're trying to obtain dietic ranks, and yeah. So personally, I do like a level system. with Dietic, for Dietic ranks, where like how I do it is level 0, which is what everyone starts at, or effectively you start out level. I guess since there is no such thing as level 0, would be like level 1, which is no Dietic rank. Level 2 would be like you're a divine rank of 0, and then 3 is divine rank 1. So it's always 2 lower. And like just normal mortals are effectively Dietic rank of -1, which sounds about right. So yeah, you don't get experience. You don't get Dietic experience for fighting things unless they're like have Dietic ranks to them. So until you like start fighting like, demigods and, the archfiends and like, the big, powerful, scary guys, those will get you like Dietic ranks and like push you towards godhood. But fighting like normal stuff, nah. Maybe some great worms might, and the Tarask, that might get you some, but it's not going to get you very much. So, yeah, because that's how powerful the gods are. Like the Tarask is like, nah, compared to them. Let's see. My DM likes it, but I think it's too complicated. That's fair. It does get very complicated, and the combat does tend to drag. I'm playing Beguiler, 20 level, Arcane Lord, 10th level, and Mindbender 2nd level. Dang, so you're what, 32nd level? That's pretty impressive. You're definitely pretty high level. I haven't quite made it that far, but yeah, that's pretty fun. Let's see, Beguiler's a nice one. Not familiar with Arcane Lord. Mindbender, know a little bit, I think. I kind of remember it. I've made a video on it. I know that much, but it's been so long since I actually covered it. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Whereas Arcane Lord, I don't think I've covered that. I don't think I'm familiar at all with that. So, yeah, and I definitely do not have an encyclopedic knowledge of the game. I'm not sure if anyone actually does. I've got a pretty good knowledge of it, and I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know everything off the top of my head. That's the thing about making videos. I don't have to know everything forever. I say, hey, I want to make a video on this because it's next in the list. I read it, I see what it is, and then once I know what I'm making the video on, and like I've studied it, I become an expert temporarily in it, and I make the video, and then a few weeks later, I probably forget half of it. That's just how it works. Because I move on and start working on the next one or something. It's an epic prestige class. Gotcha. That's probably part of why I'm not super familiar with it. I'm not very familiar with too many of those. There's a few in the epic level handbook, but I'm not too familiar with that many of them. What did you say it was called? Not Mindbender, Arcane Lord. Yeah, that doesn't sound. That's not ringing the bell. I couldn't find much about it. Fair enough. The one that I know a bit about. What is it called? I can't remember what it's called. I always call him the Juggernaut because it just reminds me of freaking Juggernaut from X-Men. But I can't remember what the prestige class is called. But I think it's freaking insane. They're like the ultimate barbarian fighter type epic prestige class. They don't have rage or anything, but yeah, they can break force barriers like with just smashing them with their fists or with a weapon. Like, yeah, the one. Yeah, I forget the name, but it's a crazy one. They freaking, they can smash through force. Now they can only do it originally once per day, and then like every 3 levels after 20, like every 3 levels after, so like 1st, 4th, 7th, 10th, blah blah blah. They can take it, and they get like 1 more use every 3 levels, but still, like, that's crazy. That you just like can make a strength check, and it's not even that high of a check. Arcane Lord is strong in my opinion. My guess is like in terms of like power, yes. In terms of strength, STR, most likely not. Based off of the name, they're probably pretty bad on that one. I imagine it's probably more like int and or charisma that they tend to be good with. I could be wrong. I haven't looked it up, but just based off the name, it's like, probably a arcane caster. Those things tend to be pretty bad with strength, and that tends to be your dump stat when you make an arcane caster. So yeah, no, it's not in strength yet. No, not in strength yet. Because arcane caster's dump stat is strength. Like you don't need it. You don't need to actually be strong. I meant more OP. Yeah, I know what you mean. I was more making a joke, but arcane casters they're weak little guys with they're strong, but like they got the weak flabby little arms, and they're they can't really do crap without their magic. Pretty helpless without it. Their magic's insane and like world breaking, but they're pretty helpless without it. Have you made any epic spells, Matt Jester? I haven't, but I've read up on some, and those are pretty cool. Like even doing the ones that are listed is hard to like gain because like he's right at the level where you can start like in character making the spells that are listed. Like not you as a player like coming up with a spell, but like the spells that are listed there like for epic spell casting. Unlike regular spells, you can't just get. You have to like research them because they're not just. You're not going to find scrolls of them anywhere probably. So you have to research them, and that requires like a lot of ranks. It's not easy to do. You need like a lot of ranks in spellcraft, I think, and possibly knowledge arcana. I would think for arcane casting. Can't remember the exact process, but yeah, it's not easy. And 32 is when you can like kind of start getting some weaker epic spells. And I say weaker because these things are freaking strong. But need lots of gold. Yeah, that makes some sense. I looked at the system and took some feats for 10th and level spell slots. Yeah, that one's not because there's two different types of epic casting. There's one that'll give you 10th and 11th level spell slots, and then there's one that will give you epic slots, and I forget exactly how it works. I think it's what the number of spell slots is equal to your modifier in or the number of ranks you have in knowledge, arcana, or religion or nature, or whatever your relevant one is, divided by 10, I think. Rounded down probably, and that's like how many spells per day you get, I think. Man, it's been for a while since I looked at it. And then like creating the spell requires a spellcraft, so like you really need to be maxing out both of those, which is a smart idea to do as a caster. As for the 10th, 11th one's completely different system of epic casting because for some reason there's two different types of epic casting. And that one, like 10th and 11th level spells, you're just casting lower level spells, but with meta magic feats put on them. Or you're using innate spell. Theoretically, if you had a 17th level spell slot, you could use innate spell in order to have true resurrection as a spell-like ability usable at will. And you just have to carry a big ass diamond with you in order to do it. So free resurrections as much as you want. You can cast it every round as a spell-like ability. You just need to have a big diamond on hand that doesn't get consumed. You've got to be stupid high level and invest 9 feats in total. Well, 9 feats just for this, plus the 3 other meta magics that it would require. So it takes a total of 12 feats to be able to pull it off, but it works for just 12 feats and a big giant diamond. You can cast True Resurrection. At will. I don't know much. At least you're not lying to your audience about your big muscles, like DPS. He says he's muscular, but then you see him from the side and his arms look emasculated, not bulky. Dang, yeah, I must I don't like, yeah, like Wizards are. Like I'm not. I wouldn't consider myself flabby, but I ain't jacked. I'd say this is slightly below average, but I don't know who our DSP is. But yeah, I don't know who that is. But yeah, I'm gonna freaking lie about that. I'm a little bit fat. No, yeah, and I'm slightly below average in strength, but maybe not slightly, maybe a little more than slight, but not like that weak. But yeah, I'm far from jacked. I don't know much about crafting of the spells besides the seeds and cost. My party doesn't give me enough downtime. Gotcha. So you don't really need to know about the seeds per se, unless you're trying to like actually like make up something like yourself as a person. If you just want to like go through the epic level handbook and just find spells you like, you don't need to worry about the seeds and all that. All you really need to worry about is be like, okay, these are like, it requires this caster, it requires this DC in order to craft it. And it'll take this much time or whatever. So you just worry about that. And then once you have the spell, you can use one of the spell slots, and you just need the 1 feat of epic casting. You just need to take that feat one time, and it'll give you, a number of spell slots equal to your knowledge ranks divided by 10 or something like that. So you'll start with like, at this point you'll probably have 3, and then you'll eventually get 4 if you keep your knowledge rank maxed out. Yeah, so it'll just kind of go up over time. You don't need to take additional feats, which is kind of nice. Now, some of the best epic feats for casting, I would say, would be innate spell is actually a good one in a way, because the prereqs for it are still spell, silent spell, and quicken spell, which are the feats that are really important for epic casting, because epic casting has automatic still, automatic silent, and automatic quicken. And if you take all 3 of those multiple times, I believe originally you'd have to take them 3 times each. I think they errated it to, I can't remember if it's 5 times each or 9 times each. But if you take all of them, then eventually you can do all your all your spells up to 9th level will just automatically be still, silent, and quickened. So yeah, and then another really good casting one is extra quicken, which will let you do 1 more quicken a turn. That one's super good because every time you take it, you get 1 more quicken spell per turn, and you can just keep taking it over and over again. Personally, I think that one needs slightly nerfed to make it so that you can only take it like once every 10 levels or something like that. Yeah, like personally, I would say the prereqs increase by 10 ranks every time you take it. That would be my nerf. That's not rules as written, but personally, I think it needs it because it's a little too broken otherwise. But it's not too bad if you put that in. Yeah. But yeah, epic spell castings, it can be fun. The game gets crazy at epic levels, though. Like, the amount of things you can do is insane. Yeah, but automatic quicken, really useful. Same with like still and silent, because it's often people will try and restrain you, or put do things to make it so that you can't be heard. Those are often things that are done. And yeah, having quicken and silent can be useful. Also, if you're drowning, it's really useful to have silent, because if it has a verbal component and you aren't able to breathe, you can't cast spells with verbal components unless you're able to breathe and like talk. So unless you have water breathing currently active, you cannot cast spells with verbal components while underwater. So something to keep in mind. Yeah. Let's see. Snag Wolf, have you used any epic spells? I never thought they would get a chance to get used. But it depends on how far your party gets. I don't know about Snag Wolf, but it really, really depends on like the party. A lot of games, they'll end before you get to like level 5. Personally, I prefer when they don't. I love when games go into like level 20. Like games in like the high teens are always fun. And then also like it can be fun when they start getting into epic too. Yeah, I haven't played too many low level games, but I do like around like level 12 or so. I think the games do get really interesting because that's when you can really start customizing your characters a bit, or even like as early as like 6 or 7. But the first like 4 or 5 levels, I don't know, they're a little more boring. Characters aren't nearly as interesting those first few levels. Everyone's kind of like there's only so many things you can do those first few levels. You don't have any prestige classes. Maybe you're multi-classed. Probably you're not. Yeah, it's just a lot less interesting those first few levels. Oh, the background thing's on. Let me fix that right quick. I don't know when that happened. Stupid thing. Come on. There we go. Ooh. Well, whatever. It's going to play them way out of order. I don't care. I'll make it more interesting. It's not like anyone's watching it to watch it anyways. Message. Oh, what's up, Bunny? Could you combine spells together? Not easily. Like you can cast 2 different spells, but in terms of like spells where like they mix, there's not really a thing to do that in 3.5 that I know of. That's something I would like to do. It sounds really cool, and I've had the idea before. But yeah, have you tried out Muya burgers yet? I have no idea what a Muya burger is. Yeah, I am curious what that is. Because yeah, yeah, is that like a burger chain or is that like a D&D thing? I'm generously, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, spells. It'd be cool if you could combine them together. Like if you make up new spells, you can kind of do that. And there are some spells that do kind of work as combination spells, but in terms of like just taking 2 and like, yeah, it unfortunately doesn't work that way. I do generally think it'd be cool, and I would really like to like do that with like, I don't know, take like Wish and Miracle and Reality of Revision and just like slam them all together and see what happens. Be like, all right, we're just taking a bunch of high level magic of all different types and just slam it together and hoping that causes something good to happen, which theoretically it would, and it'd be extraordinarily powerful. But yeah, I don't know. But that is an interesting idea, for sure. I don't know a way to do it though. If there's a way to do it, I don't know it. I had a player make 2 epic spells. It has been like close to a decade. I can't remember what they did. It was something like giving himself extraordinary abilities, and the spell was on a stone tab. Interesting. Having extraordinary abilities is nice, especially since extraordinary abilities, unless otherwise stated, are free actions. So you can kind of do them without it taking any time, which is pretty nice. Yeah, rules is written. If it doesn't state how long the activation for an ability is, extraordinary or free actions. I'm trying to remember, like a lot of the others are like standard. I think some of them are full. I can't remember, but like there's a whole section on like how long an action is if it's not listed. So yeah, there are rules is written for that. Now, if it says this action takes this long, okay, well, go by what it says. Don't go by the don't go by the default. But if it doesn't say, you go by the default. So yeah, uh, which makes some abilities really strong. Um, yeah, especially like extraordinary ones, because yeah, having them be free actions is pretty nice, especially seeing as like they don't take like they can be done in an anti-magic field. Uh, yeah, and they typically don't really take. A lot of the times they won't take resources. Well, sometimes they do. So yeah, but yeah, epic spells can be really strong, like really, really strong. I've heard people talk about like, oh, they're so broken, you can cheese them. All you need to do is summon like 1,000 bats, and then have all these 1,000 bats cast the spell with you, and then you can at 21st level be casting like this insanely powerful spell. It's like, okay, well, how are you going to get all those bats there? Like, part of it is like, okay, well, you make it a buff that lasts a long time. It's like, okay, but still you'd have to summon all these bats and fit them somewhere and have them all active at the same time. So there are going to be some logistics, even if you're doing it like in downtime, way ahead of battle. So yeah, I really hope my current camp will get to epic. They are 14 to 16 at the moment. Nice. That'd be really cool if they get there. Let's see, the game I'm at, we're all level 14, I think. No, it's at 15. Did we just hit? No, I think we're 14. Yeah, we're 14. And yeah, pretty fun level. See you soon. All right. Take care, Matthew. Start at level 1. Dang, that's pretty nice. That's impressive, no joke. It really is. Like my game, we got to like level 27. We did technically start at level 1, but I did power level them up to level like 12. So, they went from level 1 to like, I think they went from level 1 to level 5 in the first session or something, because I wanted to power level them. So I gave them like 10 times experience, like 10x experience for the first like couple sessions. So it doesn't fully count. They did start at level 1, but yeah. And then new players, I also started at level 1, but they also ended up power leveling just by like, being, they were like weak for one battle. And then because they were like, 20 levels behind, it's like, oh, now you're higher level than everyone else in the party, but you're very under geared. Well, that's how the game works, I guess. Yeah, because I basically extended the experience chart past what the book shows using the formulas that they use to derive them, which does get you some pretty crazy numbers. And yeah, you still do get experience for things that are pretty good amount weaker than you, even if it's not much. It's like, yeah, you got 1 experience. Good job. True story. Yeah. I think the way I have it, it's like you like always get at least 1 or something, but yeah. Not quite, but yeah. But yeah, starting level 1's pretty cool. Especially if you got all the way to what you said, 14 to 16. That takes a while. Without power leveling, that is really impressive. They managed to stick around that long and like not die and not have scheduling conflicts. So yeah, legit really cool. Yeah, I'm hoping I can get some games that run that long. The game I'm at, where we're level 14, I think we started at level 9. So, it's been running a few years, but scheduling issues have caused it to not be the quickest game out there. But, it is what it is. A lot of sessions get canceled, but, things happen. Yeah. Uh, Honestly, I'd really love to see a game like the games that I'm running. When I run them, I'm really hoping they run like deep into epic. I probably will start them at level 1 too. And yeah, I think that would make for like, I don't know, good content. Like if it's a paid game, like good content for the people playing, because there's not going to be like videos or anything of it. I might make videos where it's just me like talking about it and like describing it, but beyond that, there won't. I'm also thinking of like streaming on Twitch and like having people sit down in front of their cameras and play their characters and be part of the stream. And that again, would be really cool to start at level 1 and then like make our way to much higher levels. And yeah, it'd be like really cool, like like with like Critical Role or like Dimension 20, where you got these low level characters, and then like the audience can follow along the journey as the characters level up and grow, and like they can be part of the story. I found if you throw more plots than the party can possibly take on, and the ones they don't get to gain harder levels and come back to bite them, it also works at any levels. Yeah, that's definitely a cool idea. Or do you like say, well, there's like multiple things going on, and all of them like get more and more difficult as time goes on, because the problem gets worse. Maybe there's this local lord who's like who's like growing power, and he's like threatening to like revolt against the kingdom. His army's fairly small right now, but he's working on growing it. And if you decide to take him out right away, okay, he's probably not going to be that bad. But as time passes, he hires more guys and stronger guys, and his army gets bigger, and like he starts like building up his base more. So he becomes more and more of a threat as time goes on. And a reason why you might not go for him right away is you got like 3 or 4 different threats, and he's just one of them. And it's like, okay, which one do I deal with now? Which one do I deal with later? Which one am I more worried about? Which one, like, am I worried about like the consequences of letting them get too strong? Yeah, and I don't know. I think sandbox games like that are really fun, and that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing with the games I'm running, is having it kind of open-ended of, the players can kind of take whatever route they want, deal with whatever threat they want to deal with, and, let the chips fall where they may. They take out one guy, maybe other guys get stronger. If they let a guy alone too long, maybe he becomes an issue. Maybe they team up with him. Who knows? So yeah, that's a really cool idea, Snagwolf. Like that's kind of what I'm hoping to try and accomplish with my with the games that I'm planning on trying to run. I don't know. I just think it'd be a pretty cool thing to do. Just having a nice sandbox game like that, where things kind of scale as you level up, but they do it in a way that makes sense because the world isn't stagnant. Some things are going to get easier, but other things are going to grow with you. Or maybe there's also like powers in the world that are way too big for you to mess with early on, but they're not really leveling too much. And eventually you out-level them because they've grown stagnant, and you're able to take them down later. But, if you try and take them on at level like 1 or 3 or maybe even 5, they'd absolutely crush you. But come back later at level 20, and, now all of a sudden the shoe's on the other foot. Then maybe at 15, it's an even fight. What's your favorite character you've played? My favorite character would probably be Roger Lanchester. Fighter, druid, just dual class. I think I just went first level fighter, second level druid, and yeah, first level fighter, second level druid, and then just like bounce back and forth between them. And yeah, he was a fun one. He was far from overpowered, but I enjoyed him quite a lot. I wrote like this huge, few 100-page backstory on him. It's yeah, kind of crazy. I went a little overboard with him. I like printed like custom character sheets for him because like he had way more gear than the normal character sheets allowed, because he didn't just have like one or two backup weapons. He had like a whole freaking arsenal of different weapons that he could choose between depending on like the situations. Like, yeah, I got my sword, got my hammer, and my axe. And then I got my smaller sword for backup. I also got my dagger. And I got my bow. And if I'm on my horse, I got my lance. So he had a few options for combat. Yeah. So that was kind of his deal. So I had to like make like a custom character sheet to like deal with that. And yeah, I don't know. He was a fun one. And it's I had some real plans for like what was going to happen to him at higher levels. I thought about like throwing him in as like an NPC in a game that I'm DMing. I haven't done it yet, but it's definitely an idea that I've had. I don't know. It's a pretty fun character though. Probably my favorite. He wasn't good, but I liked him. Lots of ranks in craft weaponsmithing, armor smithing, and bow making, all three. So yeah. Other fun characters I played some twin gnomes. Those were fun. Nimble and Dimble. Dimble and Gimble Ningle. That was it. And they were a fun little bunch. They were just they were what? A Mystic the Urge and Cerebromancer. Yeah, and they were a fun pair. They were all about they were tricky. They were they called themselves the Know-It-All Brothers. Yeah, they were all about like just getting knowledge and then like manipulating information. That was kind of their whole thing, which was that's a pretty fun build. They weren't very strong, but like in terms of like strength, but like they were very crafty. I enjoyed playing them a lot. And then I've also enjoyed playing big dumb brutes. Like I had another character I played once. I forget his name, but he was just straight up like this freaking orc he was dumb. He had like no intelligence or charisma, but he was really strong. So he was built like a tank, but yeah, he was a fun character. Do you use the taint rules from Heroes of Horus? I haven't used them. I have Heroes of Horus, but I haven't looked at it too closely. Like I've looked at like the prestige classes and classes in there. Like the classes in there are really good. I think there's only 2 of them, but I mean Archivist is an amazing class, and what's the other one? It's not. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's like fear something. It's like a fear-based one. I know that. But it's a good one for sure. But I'd say it's not as good as Archivist, but it is a really good base class. And then there's like other prestige, and there's like a good number of good prestige classes in there too. So I have looked at the book, but not super close. Taint rules, huh? Let me go grab a book and see what I can find there. Heroes of Horror. Heroes of Horror. Brain need worky. My brain actually is working fine. Unlike in the past. All right, page 62. Sweet, appreciate that. That makes this way easier. Had it before I even had the book in hand. Well, maybe not in hand, but able to actually open it. All right, the Taint of Evil, interesting. Effects of Taint, common or whisk score, no taint, dead insane. Interesting. I haven't looked. So, how much you can handle depends on what your score is. Interesting. And all right. Substance for shadows and determine severity of a king's taint symptom. Okay, it acquires more points of corruption one time than a current constant regime must. Interesting. Typically, characters. Yeah, I'm not sure what the points of corruption is. It seems interesting, but yeah. It does definitely seem really cool, like making it so that like as you get more evil, like the effects of evil like tear you apart physically. That's a cool concept. Not gonna lie, it's not something I've looked into, but yeah, that is legitimately a cool concept. Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I haven't used them before. Yeah, at least that's what I imagine it means. Both corruption and gravity. Determine. Degrees of fear, phobias, escalate. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out because it's not saying, it's not making it obvious what the taint of evil actually mean. At least not from a quick glance. It's prominent in horror games that evil is a corrupting force. Okay, yeah. All right. Sometimes, however, even well-intentioned characters end up embracing the taint within them, using it to increase their physical or mental power. Characters can acquire taint by entering a place suffused with evil, by becoming in contact with horribly evil objects, evil acts. Okay, all right. Interesting. Saving throw to resist. To receive a restoration healer. For taint. As you manifest one minor physical and mental symptom. Interesting. It says there's like some bonuses to it, although I'm not sure what that means, but it gives undead free feats the taint that is interesting. So free feats for undead. That's kind of cool. Are immune to any negative from taints. They automatically have effect corruptions and depravity scores equal to 1/2 their charisma score, +1 for undead, +2 for outsiders. Take no penalties due to those taint scores, but they can use them to qualify for feats or prestige classes. Interesting. Come on. See. In most cases, a character can attempt to saving through anytime a character acquires more points of corruption. Special, she is sickened. Acquires more points. Yeah, I'm not seeing where it shows you get cool stuff, but interesting. Yeah. And apparently, if you go too high, then you're either dead or insane. Interesting. That's kind of cool. I haven't used that system ever, but it seems like an interesting system. Um, yeah, for the games that I'm planning on running, just to keep them simple and my plan, and to I want to try and make my game like immersive if I'm going to run a game. And in order to really do that, I think the best way, excuse me, is to start with just core, and then and like really try and make it immersive with core. Say, because I want to make sure that if I'm running it, I want to make sure that like every part of the book is in the world in some way or another. Like I want to kind of create a world where, all right, we got, these things over here, these things over here, oh, there's this prestige class. Okay, well, they're operating in these parts of the world. Maybe there's groups here, maybe they're spread out. So like I have some idea like where to find these creatures, like everything in the game, in like the world. And like, I don't know, maybe I'll like make a like, a table, like a chart or a table or a wheel or something that like has all the various different things that honestly I'd probably use the wheel system like they have on like on Google. There's like random name, like random names wheel. What's it called? Let me look this up real quick. Very very cool little tool that they have. I don't know if it's part of Google or not. I always just Google random wheel generator, but it's called Wheel of Names. I think it is part of Google. Maybe it's, no, I don't think it is. It's just wheelsofnames.com. And yeah, pretty cool little site. But yeah, if you do like advanced, you can do some pretty cool stuff. And like set it to so like you can set various different ones, and then like you can set various different percentage. If you've ever seen a Magic the Noah video, this is I'm pretty sure this is the exact site Noah uses for all his wheels, and I know Doug's done it too for like a lot of his wheel stuff. Although a lot of it's done with coding and stuff. He stopped using the wheels fairly early, but Magic the Noah does everything on that because that's his thing, is to like be super low budget. But yeah, that's something that I would definitely kind of. I'd probably use that if I was running a game. Like, I wouldn't be doing it in the same way that like Noah's doing it, where he's like showing it in the video and like all that, and it'd be like behind the DM screen, and it's like, okay, what kind of creature's here? Let's roll to see what it is, and like, I'd have like a list of all the different possibilities, and like they'd all be weighted by like how likely they are and stuff in certain areas, and that would just kind of make the world just feel more alive and lived in. You know what I mean? So like whenever they visit an area for the first time, I feel like my plan would be to like go in and build the world out with the Wheel of Names, and then in order to figure out like, okay, what class, what race, blah 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 blah. Let's make just make these random characters. Like, let's make this place feel alive. And then like as I did that, I'd like write down notes to be like, okay, this is what this place is. So if they go back, it's not going to be randomly generated again. It'll be the same thing it was previously, probably, at least until they end up changing the world by adding more books to the game. When a character reaches moderate taint, and again when he reaches severe taint, he gains a bonus. Okay, so that's how it works. This can be any feat for which the character has the prerequisites. Okay. I hear what you're saying. That's cool then. So that's how you get bonuses for that. Good to know, Snag. Well, appreciate that info. All right. Yeah, so like in my world, basically how I would would make it work is every book that I own is either going to be in the game. So like you start off with just the core plus rules compendium, so just those 4 books, and then all the other books that I physically own are either in the game or they're locked behind another book that's in the game. Like the Heroes of Horror, this would be a physical like stone artifact. It'd be this big giant like book, way bigger than this one, but it'd be this like giant stone book that you just see on like this pedestal, and then you can put and there'll be like a little tablet thing that has like that's where you can unlock it, and then you put your mark against the tablet, and it'll cause the book to turn from stone into like color and like become like it'll cause it to manifest and turn like to appear like a book, and and then that'll make everything in the book manifest into the world, and that'll be kind of the main premise of the game is players are able to manifest these books into the world and change the world, and so the world will like grow and adapt and change as you play. If you like I said, if you've ever seen the anime Undead Unluck, which I honestly just watched that recently. It's kind of the same thing with how rules are added to the world in that particular anime. If you've seen it, if you haven't, I don't know how else to describe it. That's just kind of the best example. Is everybody that's not part of the system magically just knows all the new information, and it's been like the world's always been that way. But then like characters that aren't part of it, like party players, their memories aren't overwritten. The difference here is it's not like it doesn't matter if you're currently part of the it doesn't matter if you're currently a player or not. You're born with a mark of destiny, and whether you've joined up with the party yet or not, you'll always have that mark. So and so basically new players will have experienced all the changes while not being part of the game. Just kind of the idea that I'm going for in my game. I think it'll be interesting. But I'll just kind of like start small. You won't even know that much. Like, I'll start you off in probably a small little backwoods town. And then from there you can decide where you're going to go. Do you head towards the big city? Do you try and head down a road that leads to a different country? Do you head out into the woods? Do you stay in the small backwoods town? And depending on which way the party decides to go, I'll kind of build the story around that. And, the stuff that's kind of relevant, I'll kind of keep in the background and like, try and do my part to like say, okay, well, these political forces are happening and these factions are moving and taking such and such actions. Maybe it's relevant to the party, maybe it's not. Like, I don't know, maybe say that you go off into the woods, but while you're gone, maybe the kingdom that you're in goes to war with the neighboring kingdom. And maybe that's relevant to you later, maybe it's not. It's probably not going to be relevant while you're out in the woods, but when you go find a town somewhere, it's probably going to come up. How much it impacts you depends. So, that's kind of my plan. Is not really give a story per se, more just kind of like give things to do, and if people want to follow that path, then they're welcome to it. Sort of like kind of like a Skyrim or a Breath of the Wild kind of scenario, where like, except for there's not necessarily a main story. Like in Skyrim, like, there's the whole Dragonborn quest that's like the main story of the game. But like, maybe you don't want to have that as the main story. Like, for mine, it's like, okay, well, maybe you wanted the whole joining the College of Winterhold to be your story, and that's like what everything revolves around. Cool, that's fine. We'll adapt and go that way, and let the Stormcloaks and Imperials do their thing while you just focus on your college stuff. Like it really just depends on how you want to do things. The world, moves on with or without you, and you can choose to engage with it or not. That's kind of my idea from the game I'm doing. I haven't started yet. I kind of want to, but yeah. I don't know. It'll probably be the same one that I run for the paid game as for the streamed one. Probably the same world too. Well, they might run into each other, but yeah. When a character reaches moderate taint, oh, you already said this. I don't know why it pops. I don't know. My screen did something weird. There we go. Morrowind is the best Elder Scrolls game in my opinion. Fair enough. I haven't played it. I do remember Tom the Robot talking about it a lot when I was a kid. Man, he would not stop raving about that game. I remember that. I'm trying to watch my DBZ, and I'm hearing Tom being like, "Oh, you got to check out Morrowind. It's like the best game ever." I'm like, "All right, that sounds cool." I don't have a PlayStation, but that's cool. If I had one, I might check that out maybe. Or Xbox. I can't remember what it was on. I know it wasn't on the Nintendo because that's what I had, and I wasn't able to play it. I've heard that game's a janky mess, though. Like, I've heard it's heavily based on D&D in some of the less fun ways, where basically the AC is maybe a little bit too high, and you just go out there and you're just like miss, miss, miss. Miss. Meanwhile, they're hitting you, miss, 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 and you're just trying to fight this guy, and 90% of the attacks both you and it deal are just miss, and you're just sitting there waiting for attacks to land. It's like, okay, well, that's a thing. Yeah, I've heard that that's a little bit of a thing with Morrowind. Now, to be fair, it's an older game, and for its time, it was probably pretty good. But and to be fair, Skyrim is an older game at this point, and freaking when are they going to make Elder Scrolls 6? It's been over a decade now. Come on, people. That part is 10% of the game. By the end, you become a god. Nice. That does sound pretty fun. Becoming a god is a fun little thing that you can do in a lot of video games. I love it when that's yeah, and I like that in TTRPGs too. I kind of want to make my own MMO game like that, but it'd be, I don't know, it'd be focused. It'd be an MMO that focuses on the single player more than the multiplayer, if that makes any sense. Multiplayer is a part of the game, but it doesn't focus heavy on it, where in WoW or something, where it's oh yeah, we got to get together and we have to have 5 guys to do this raid dungeon and blah 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 blah. It's okay, that's an option, but there's also plenty you can do outside of that. And I'd also want to make sure it had plenty of non-combat options as well. Because I like video games where I can be a merchant and a craftsman, and I can go and I can gather mats and I can make material to make armor and weapons and sell them to other players and make money to buy more mats and get rich, and also build connections with some of the top players because I'm the guy who's making all the weapons and armor and stuff. And I especially like it when all the best weapons and armor are made that way, and you can't just find weapons and armor the good stuff as drops or as stuff that you pay for with real money. It's I'm not a big fan of that. Now, if you wanted to try and make it a real game where you have to pay for stuff, it's okay, well, maybe charge for mats. I don't know. I don't know the best way to do it. There's probably issues with that too. I saw a thread about an active online world with 3.5. Ooh, nice. That sounds fun. And honestly, if it was going to be a 3-5 base game, it'd basically have to be free and an act of love because legal reasons. Yeah, if you try and like make money off of it, it becomes a whole thing. Yeah, I mean, I kind of am with like the YouTube channel and all, but like I'm not really selling a product exactly. Like, you don't really have like all my videos are free. Like anybody can watch them for free. Yes, I have membership stuff, but which does get you like some perks, but like that's like, hey, you get your comments answered sooner, or hey, you don't have to watch ads on my videos. It's like, okay, that's like it's not the craziest perks. It's honestly it's more supporting me because you just want to support me than it is anything. It was free as far as I know. Yeah, I figured generally stuff for like 3.5 are free because Wizards not supporting it. They're not making official products for 3.5, and they're the only ones who can make products and charge money for them. Anyone else who wants to like charge money for stuff, yeah, that's not something you can really do to an extent. I mean, like what I'm doing, like I think it is fair because like I'm like it's a creative process. I'm creating my own derivative works from the D&D stuff by like making videos that cover it. Like that's a derivative work, whereas which I think is fine, hopefully. But yeah, it's just different. Like, and same like if I wanted to do a paid game, it's like, okay, well, you're not paying for like the materials and stuff. You're paying for like my time running it. If you were to do something like that, you know what I mean. But yeah, to actually create an MMO, yeah, you pretty much have to make that free because yeah, it's a whole thing for the license trademarks and all that fun jazz. Yeah. Yeah, it's just complicated. Legal reasons, yay. All those rules, lawyers, and mechanists, man. Yeah, freaking mechanists and their rules and laws and regulations. Think bureaucrats. But let's be real. They're all hanging out in mechanists. That's where, like, there's a reason why lawful neutral is considered the judge. Like that is the type that's put on them. I forget what all other ones are, but I know lawful neutral is the judge, and yeah, because yeah, they are all about law and order, and they don't really care about good versus evil. It's just yeah, we're following the rules to the letter. It's kind of where bureaucrats hang out. Yeah. Also machines, that's where all like the constructs live because they don't really have a concept of good or evil. They're just following they're just doing what they're programmed to do. I did want to let you know that I think it's very admirable talking about your mental health is open to you. Oh, I appreciate that, Snagwolf. Yeah, I am pretty open about it. Yeah, autism, ADHD, meds, all that fun, crazy stuff. Kind of sucks having to deal with it, but it does help me with the channel in a way. Like the fact, like being autistic helps me like be able to dive deep into these books and like understand them and like really like grasp the concepts in ways that non-autistic people aren't usually as good at. And like with ADHD, like that really helps me like be more comfortable in front of the camera and like it helps me stream and like it is a barrier when first like before you've started streaming. Don't get me wrong, like if you got ADHD and you haven't streamed before, starting probably be harder than for most people. But if you got like especially autism and ADHD like me, once you start, you catch on pretty quick, and you start getting comfortable with stuff fast. That's typically how things are for people with autism and ADHD like me. It's really difficult to get started, but once you do, you get comfortable pretty quick. Yeah. So yeah, that's just been my experience. I don't know. I figured might as well be open about it because I found that not being open about it, I often run into problems down the road. So might as well talk about it early and get it out of the way. And you don't like it, you don't like it. And I don't have to deal with I don't know. It just sucks when, you start to feel comfortable in a situation and then all of a sudden you find out that people don't like you. So it's you know what? I'd rather get it out of the way early. That's kind of my logic on it. Yeah. So I'd rather get it out of the way early. Rather people, are here because they like me. And if they don't, well, I mean, there's 3-5 Archive. There's other places they can go. I can't, you can't please everybody. You can't, you can please some of the, well, they say you can please all of the people some of the time and some of the people, or all of the people some of the time and some of the people all of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. Personally, I think that's a little bit extreme, but I would change all to most. So you can please most of the people some of the time and some of the people most of the time. Did I say that right? Most of the people some of the time and some of the people most of the time, but you can't please most of the people most of the time. So, yeah. You can do decent, but there's limits on it. And honestly, with a community like this, focus more on the, some of the people most of the time kind of thing. This is a pretty niche audience, it's D&D 3.5. Not only it's just something that only D&D fans are going to be interested in. Your average sports guy isn't going to be coming over here and watching this. I mean, some you'd be surprised that some people who are into it, like Vin Diesel, who would have ever thought he played D&D, but apparently he played back in the day, probably before 3.5. But my point is, a lot of guys, they don't care about D&D, and a lot of the people that play D&D, especially all these Gen Z Zoomers, they don't care about 3.5. They're mostly playing 5e. That's just how it works. So I got my own little niche community here. It's growing because honestly 3.5 isn't that niche, but it is still pretty niche in the grand scheme of things. But I say not that niche because I only have 2,500 subscribers, which I'm very grateful for. That is a good amount of subscribers, but it's not like some crazy number like some people are getting, which I don't expect it to be for many reasons. One, like I say, this is a niche community, and two, my videos aren't as high quality as those people's yet. I haven't figured out how to make them that good yet. So, only the people who are willing to put up with the lower quality videos that I'm making are watching my videos, which I appreciate. That's, people, you guys care more about the fact that there's, good information than you do about the, production value, which, I appreciate. I know getting up the production value would get the audience better. I just don't know how to do it. I'm learning. Slowly. Part of the whole autism thing, makes things difficult to figure out when you don't know where to start exactly, and you don't know exactly what the problems are. So, yeah. Or when people do point out hey, this is an issue, it's that's good to know. I don't know how to fix that, so it's not really helpful. You know what I mean? Like, in order for something to be useful and like helpful, like for criticism, I need a solution to the problem, not just pointing out what the problem is a lot of the time. So, yeah. Like sometimes it's easy enough. Like on my last video, everyone's like, "Hey, the background music's too loud." I'm like, "All right, that's an easy fix. I know how to fix that." That's literally, when I set the volume on it, I put it at -20. I need to go with a lower number than that, maybe -25. So I'm going to try next time, and hopefully that's low enough that it's not too loud for y'all. Easy enough fix. But other stuff, it's like, make better thumbnails. Okay, how? What do you mean? Like, I'm doing the best I can. Yeah. Mitch, do you have a spell compendium? I do. What's up, Sven? Bob World Builder did a poll asking what TTB RPG do you play in 3.5 did well. Nice. I'm not super familiar with Bob World Builder, but that's pretty nice that 3.5 did well. I know it doesn't do like super high on a lot of like VTTs of like what system people are playing there, but I think a lot of it is, I think 3.5 players are just less likely to use VTTs than newer systems like 5e. A lot of 3.5 players are old school, and we're not using like virtual tabletops. I prefer them personally, but the game I'm running, my DM, he literally just has a webcam like the one I'm using here, and he just freaking points it down at the table and has a battle map. Like, works for me. Like, I'm down for that, but like I'm not picky about like what system I use for like for my VTT, or like if it even has to be a VTT, just as long as it's not fantasy theater of the mind, at least not when combat is advanced in any sort of way, because I'm going to get mad if I'm trying to make tactical decisions and my DM tells me, no, you can't do that because you're not close enough, because their theater of the mind isn't matching my theater of the mind, and it's causing a mismatch, and I'm not able to do the things I planned. No, I don't freaking like that. So I don't do theater of the mind. That's why I like actual battle mats, so that we don't have these arguments. It saves a lot of trouble. I will play in person. I'll still play in person. Yeah, I would love to play in person. I don't know people who can do that. I don't know people locally. So in person isn't so much of an option for me. Yeah, you said, what was the name? Bob the World Builder? Or Bob World Builder? Let's see. Vaguely familiar? Interesting. Not someone I super follow. Hey, he did a thing with D&D questers, or one-shot questers. That's cool. And I do have the spell compendium, Sven. I can go grab that. Theater of the Mind is not for me. Yeah, same, mostly. I'm like Theater of the Mind for non-combat, perfectly fine. No issue with Theater of the Mind when it comes to non-combat. If we're just like role-playing a scene where like, we're doing some sort of heist or whatever, or like we're going through like a dungeon and like we're scouting a room to see like, okay, there's a desk. It's like, okay, there's a desk in the room. There's this, there's that, and like the DM just describing like the room and doing Theater of the Mind for that. Like, fine. I don't really. I please grab a spell compendium, turn to page 16, and read Aspect of the Wolf for us. Okay. Aspect of the Wolf. Transmutation. Druid 1, Ranger 1. Components: verbal, semantic, material, / divine focus. Casting time 1 standard action. Range personal. Target you. Duration 10 minutes per level. So pretty long one. With a howl, you complete the spell. Instantly, your body sprouts short, thick fur. Your spine and neck bend, causing you to drop to your hands and knees, which quickly shorten into canine limbs. When you cast a spell, you assume the physical appearance and many of the qualities and abilities of a wolf, Monster Manual 283. While under the effect of the spell, your creature type changes to animal and your size changes to medium. You have a space and reach of a wolf, 5x5. You gain the strength, dexterity, and constitution of an average wolf, strength 13, dex 15, con 15, but you retain your own mental ability scores. Your base land speed becomes 50. You gain low light vision and scent. You gain a bite attack. Scent is a primary natural attack and deals 1d6 points of damage with each successful hit. Your class and level, your class and level, hit points, alignment, base attack bonus, and base saving throw bonuses all remain the same. You lose any extraordinary special abilities of your own form, as well as spell-like and supernatural abilities. You keep all extraordinary special attacks derived from class levels, such as Barbarian's Rage or Rogue Sneak Attack, but you lose any form, your normal form, that are not derived from class levels. You cannot speak or cast spells without while in wolf form. However, if you have the natural spell feat, you can cast spells normally. Your natural armor bonus becomes +2, regardless of any natural armor bonus from your normal form. While in wolf form, you gain the wolf's trip extraordinary attack form, allowing you to make a free trip attempt against any opponent that you hit with your bite attack. Your equipment melds into your new form and becomes non-functional. Arcane material component, a whisker from a wolf. Okay, interesting. Basically, you can transform into a wolf. It's basically you wild shape into a wolf, more or less, which is kind of cool. Yeah. And also the description just made me think of freaking Twilight Princess and Link and good old Wolf Link. Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying with Theater of the Mind, yeah, it's fine when you're not doing combat. In combat, yeah, unless the combat's really simple. Like, I did Theater of the Mind in one of my games once. This was a while back, but it's actually the last game I ran. But anyways, or one of them. But basically, they went to this town. They're like level 27, and they had to deal with the enemies there, which was like 2 pit fiends. And I think there might have been a couple of weaker ones there. But it's like, at this point in the game, like, they easily dealt with that without the enemy even getting a turn. And I knew that it was going to be an absolute slaughter, and it wouldn't be even remotely a challenge. So I'm like, I'm not going to bother making a map for this. We're just doing Theater of the Mind. This should be an easy fight for you. But yeah, why would you use that spell to disguise, or what am I missing? That's a good question. I would say you could use it to disguise, yeah. It could be used for combat. Wolves are decent, especially seeing as it's a first level spell. You could do this at first level, and the material component is not particularly hard to get a hold of. Literally a whisker of a wolf. A spell component pouch will just have that in it, as well as eschew materials. Makes it so you wouldn't need it. So, yeah, pretty easy one that you could do at extremely low levels, like literally a first level character. So, it has its uses. And even at higher levels, like, you could use it for utility to like sneak and stuff, like you're saying, and get kind of a wild shape into a wolf. It's not full wild shape. There are some subtle differences between it and wild shape, but it's pretty similar. I know wild shape, you're able to speak to animals of your kind. This didn't mention anything about that, so therefore you can't. But most of the stuff that it says is like literally like wild shaping into a wolf is what they're describing. It doesn't last as long. It's only 10 minutes per level, which, I think wild shape is like an hour per level. This is also first level. You can't wild shape until 5th level. So that's kind of a thing. When my charisma cast it, I can make it work for me. My companion and my familiar. So my revenue goes from tiny to medium. I see what you're saying. You can't. You cast it on your familiar in order to turn them into a wolf. Interesting. I mean, yeah, that could be done. Although at the same time, you do have to worry about it dying because, familiars are problematic in that regard. Personally, that's why I like, the Arcane Hierophant for their familiar companion, which is very nice. Letting you get a mix of arcane, mix your familiar with your animal companion to make just a really cool, a stronger version of both. Because familiars do get some stuff that animal companions don't, which are pretty nice. So yeah, but you're right. You could cast it on them. Yeah. Although I gotta say, if it's an animal companion that's a wolf, I don't think it was gonna work if you have a wolf animal companion, just because, I guess maybe I guess in a way it works. Oh hey, you changed colors and you look different. You were a wolf that looked like blah, and now you're a wolf that looks like a different wolf or something yeah. I mean, changing into a wolf is weird if you're already a wolf, but it's kind of a cool little thing. But it's basically literally just wild shape. Everything that it describes is what wild shaping into a wolf would be like. The difference is 10 minutes per level instead of hours per level, and you don't have any variety in what you can choose to change into. Seeks a spell slot instead of a wild shape use, which, a little bit more of a valuable resource. Just kind of some stuff. But druids are very, very good class. Honestly, one of the best druid builds you can make is Druid 20. It's a really good build. Unlike maybe you take some variants on there, but Druid 20 is just solid. Because unlike other stuff, druids it's a great caster class, and it doesn't really have dead levels at all, and you gain a lot of stuff beyond just casting as you level up, unlike all the other good caster classes. So taking prestige classes is actually costly. Now, taking them isn't necessarily bad. There are some really good ones you might want to take, but it's a legitimate trade, and it's hard to, and there aren't any that are 100% objectively better than just going straight druid. Whereas most prestige classes, a lot of prestige classes are in most regards objectively better than going straight wizard or going straight cleric. Druid, it's a real trade-off. Druid is top tier. It really is, especially if you're talking low effort, how much work you're putting into designing the build. You can very easily accidentally make an OP druid. It can very easily be done without meaning to. Whereas making a hyper optimized wizard or cleric, you're not doing that on purpose, because you're not going to be just taking 20 levels of wizard or cleric. If you're doing that, you're taking 4 to 6 levels of wizard or cleric, and then you're taking things like archmage, and you're taking various different prestige classes that give full casting, because what you're giving up as a wizard or a cleric to take a prestige class isn't much. Like, especially for like a cleric, like, taking something like Radiant Servant of Palor, it's a no-brainer to take that. You literally lose nothing for taking that over just taking cleric. Okay, maybe not quite nothing. I think what is it? I think the D8. I think your hit dice goes from a D8 to a D6, so a little less health, and then like I think you get some. I think it's less skill points, and the skills aren't quite the same. I think the skill skill list for the cleric's a little better, but you're not losing much. Like you still keep, advancing your caster level at full, and on top of that, your turn undead is also advancing at full rate. You're not becoming worse at that, like you normally would be by taking Divine Caster. So there's just really no reason not to. Wizard, there's really there's really nothing that's quite to that level with them, but the extra thing that they get is one, their familiar gains new abilities, which don't actually increase from prestige classes for the most part. The vast majority, it's rare to find one that will. And then also you don't get your feat every 5th level, because Wizard gets one free bonus feat every 5 levels. From they can be any meta magic or item creation feat. So there's that. But aside from that, the prestige class, like Wizards don't get anything that a prestige class that gives full spellcasting advancement doesn't give. Like Wizards don't get good spells. I think skills, it's like 2+ int. I think they generally have a decent list because they have high intelligence, but that's irrelevant to prestige classing. They have a D4, which is the worst hit dice possible. So yeah, they might have worse skill lists, but still, generally you lose almost nothing for taking Wizard prestige classes, which is why you want to do it. Assuming it gives full casting advancement. If it doesn't, then think again. But there are a decent number of Wizard prestige classes that give full casting advancement. So, yeah, spell augment familiar, page 17. Yeah, definitely the same book. Augment familiar, mostly on page 18, but yeah. Transmutation, Sorcerer Wizard 2, Verbal Somatic, 1 standard action, close 25 plus 5 feet per 2 levels. Target your familiar, concentration 1, plus 1 round per level. Okay, so it's not going to last super long, but Fortitude negates harmless. Spell resistance, yes, harmless. Okay. Reaching out with magic, you empower your familiar, making it quicker and stronger. The spell grants your familiar a +4 enhancement bonus to strength, dexterity, and constitution, and damage reduction 5 magic, and a +2 resistance bonus on saving throws. Yeah, that is not bad at all. Especially if you're doing that aspect of the wolf, which is the page before it. I mean, sort of the same page, like you can see them both right there. So, sort of the same page. I'm not sure about the concentrate part of the spell, how it works, and what can we do while concentrating. So, it is limited what you can do while concentrating. Also, while concentrating, you have to make a concentration check anytime you take damage, and that's like cumulative over like the round. So if you take like a bunch of damage, that will be a problem. Also, damage over time. becomes a real problem for like concentration stuff, because that forces you to make the save like every turn. The DOT is really nasty for concentration spells. It's just really hard to focus when you're taking chip damage every turn. Yeah, so that's a thing. Now, if it's low and you have a really high concentration, sure, but yeah, concentration can be a bit of an issue. Just kind of depends on how many ranks you put into it. A lot of casters don't go too heavy on it because they have other things that they need to be putting ranks into. They just can't afford to be putting a lot into concentration. Some put a lot in it and like go hard on concentration, but not all. It really, really depends. Like, you know, when I'm playing a caster, I pretty much always have spellcraft maxed out. And then, you know, if I'm a divine caster, I'll have knowledge, religion, or nature, depending, maxed out. And then I'll have knowledge, arcana if I'm an arcane caster maxed out. But, you know, something like concentration, that may or may not be something that I'm going to be putting a lot of ranks into. Really depends. It's a good one, and it's one that I will often put ranks into, but not always. Depends a lot on the build that I'm doing. Concentration almost never works when you take damage. The DC is 10 plus damage taken. That's true, but like if you have like max ranks, you can be pretty good at it. Like, being able to get like 30, 40 on it somewhat consistently by, level 15-ish. Or like, 10 to like in the, I don't know, like level 12 range. Yeah, it sounds about right. It can work a decent amount of the time if you're putting like full investment into it. It's one that you really got to do like all or nothing with concentration. You either got to like full invest or not bother with it for the most part. If you choose not to bother with it, you kind of want the feat. Otherwise, it can be a real problem to try and cast defensively. Like, because there's a feat that lets you cast defensively without a concentration check. You just have to like make a flat DC. But without that feat, yeah, it's a bit of a problem. Or just have a stupid high AC. That also, or just like have like stupid high like defenses. Like have a really high AC, have really good magic resistance, have really good like a bunch of stuff. AC is probably the most important because casting in melee combat tends to be a thing that comes up more than a lot of concentration spells. But yeah, it's definitely a thing. Or casting like a full round action that is always going to require concentration. Even with max ranks at any level, from what I've seen, it barely works. Interesting. I've seen it works most of the time, but different experiences, I guess. Normally I don't have my casters being hit for crazy amounts of damage when they're trying to concentrate on stuff. It doesn't that's I don't know. It's usually not the case. Usually the casters are pretty good at staying in the back and while other players like tank the damage and make it hard for me like as the DM to like go after the guys in the back. And like in terms of like going after the guys in the back, one thing that you can very much like, one thing I do in terms of like tactical play is I look at the intelligence of the creature. If they're not very smart, I tend to, especially if they don't have good wisdom either, I tend to not have them like be very tactical and just kind of attack whatever's closest, because that's how something with poor intelligence and wisdom is going to fight. Charisma doesn't really matter, at least not for like who they choose to target. How aggressive they are, sure. Lower charisma tends to mean higher aggression. But yeah, if it's low wisdom and low charisma, or not charisma, and intelligence, they just attack who's ever in front. And then, the tanks do their job while like squishy casters in the back do their job. And the mobs don't even realize that they're fighting stupid. If they have good wisdom, they might like catch on, hey, we should go after the guy in the back. They're not going to be able to think like too much in terms of tactics, but to have like the basic instincts to attack the squishy casters, that's more of a wisdom thing. But knowing like when the time to strike is and like, planning coordinated attacks, that's very much intelligence. Combat casting. Yeah, combat casting, that's a spell. They're not spell, feat. But yeah, that's how I tend to run it, is like I try and play my the enemies based off of their intelligence, and the stupid guys with low wisdom and intelligence, I don't play them that smart. I play them pretty dumb most of the time. A lot of trash mobs I'm not going to play with the greatest of intelligence, but if I'm playing something like with high intelligence, high wisdom, okay, now I'm going to try and be as tactical as I can, which is difficult when I'm controlling multiple stuff. I'm honestly considering in the future maybe like getting some, like making some AI agents to like run the NPCs for me, to be like, okay, this NPC is run by this agent, this NPC is run by this agent, this NPC is run by a third agent, and like they're all playing their characters, and like when it's their turn, I can call on them and they can, come up with tactical actions. I'll be letting them know what's happened and everything, so that when it becomes to be their turn, they can do what they got to do. I think concentration takes a standard action. Depends on what you're talking about. If it's a concentration spell, I believe yes. Or actively controlling a concentration, I believe, is standard. Maintaining, I think, is a swift, to just like maintain a concentration. Like if you have like a spell going that's, I don't know, like it's calling lightning on a certain spot. To have it keep dropping on that same spot, I think I'm not sure if that requires a swift. I don't think it's any action to have it just keep launching it at the same spot. But if you want to move it somewhere else so that it's hitting a different spot, then that will often take an action. I forget exactly how it works. Some spells are explicit in like what they require, but I think you might be right that standard action is what it is if it's not mentioned. So yeah, I think you might be right that it does take your standard action. Now, you don't have to recast the spell every turn to do it. You only have to cast the spell once, and it will last. I forget exactly how that one works. What does it say? Concentrations plus something. Well, let's see. Concentration plus 1 round per level. Gotcha. So yeah, it's a concentration, and so yeah, every level you are is like one level that you can do it for. Like it'll end after, regardless of if you can keep concentrating, it will end after that time limit. I'm wrong. It's a free or no action. Oh, well, that's cool then. That's good to know. But yeah, so it'll only go as long as you maintain the concentration, I think. That's actually a good question. How does that work? That's one of those things you gotta like look up, like, because it doesn't mean that it's a concentration spell and that it lasts 1 round per 1 round per level, plus 1 round per level, or does it mean that it's concentration and then it will last? So it'll last as long as you can maintain concentration, which could be indefinitely, and then it also continues for 1 round per level thereafter. I don't know. I don't know which one it's trying to say. What do you think of Fusion Frenzy for Xbox? Not familiar with it. I don't have an Xbox. Well, okay, I sort of have an Xbox, but it's an old one. There's an old Xbox 360 down there behind my laundry basket. Yeah, it's an old Xbox 360. Not exactly the newest thing in the world. So that's my Xbox. I don't have anything newer than that. My newest stuff is all Nintendo, and I do not have the Switch 2. Can't afford it. And even if I could, I don't know if I'd buy it because I don't know. It's not that much of an improvement in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, the graphics are a lot better, but I don't know. There's not that many new games, and yeah, it would just kind of make the graphics better and the games run a bit smoother. I just don't know if there's really enough value that I would get out of it, of owning a Switch 2, even if I could afford it. Apparently, they've been selling well, which I don't really understand, because I just feel like Nintendo's got less to offer with it than they usually do. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe I'm in the minority, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Not familiar with Fusion Frenzy. No idea what kind of game it is, to be honest. I can look it up, I guess. Fusion Frenzy. Interesting. The heck is this game? I don't even know what this game is. Yeah, I have no idea what this game is. Looks like some monkey ball thing. I don't know. I'm just looking at the pictures. I've never heard of it, and a party game featuring fast-paced mini games, 6 distinct characters, arenas. Okay, party game. Gotcha. I don't know. Not my thing. Could be fun, like if someone has it and it's at a party, but like I don't have it. I don't have an Xbox. I don't have a way to play it. Yeah, I use a free app for me phone called D20 Complete Reference for 3.5. It works great for me. Nice. I do not have any sort of app or anything. I have physical books, and then what I personally use is I go to Google and I type D&D 3.5, and then whatever it is I'm looking for, and then I just start clicking links and hoping it takes me to legit sites, which usually they're pretty decent. Usually the top sites are what I'm looking for. I haven't found anything like super sketch usually. I don't have a way of like showing my screen on YouTube. I can on Twitch, but unfortunately not on YouTube. But yeah, I just go D&D 2.5, and then like I don't know, whatever it is I want to look up. Like if I want to type cleric, then cool. I get like stuff on the cleric. D&D SRD, first link, tools.org. So yeah, I just get like various stuff. And I can just, yeah, I'll often do that for like my videos too. That's usually, I forget what site it is, but there's one site that is where I usually get my like the requirements page. It's like the requirements part. So when I do that section of the video, that graphic I usually pull from online. The rest I like actually will like make whatchamajigger. I will like take a photo and all that fun stuff. But with that, like it's literally just like black text on white screen. It's extremely basic stuff. So I'm like, yeah, pretty sure it's not really any risk of like copyright or anything on that. Like they're not using any sort of like format that's really copyrightable. Um, I want to use the aspect of the wolf on my raven and let him play with my dog to strengthen their bonds. Oh, that's cute. That's pretty cute, Sven. Pretty cool little idea there. I like it. Um, and interesting. So you have a dog and a raven. I'm curious how that works. I have a PC, but not a laptop, and I play away from my house. Fair enough. I also have a PC and not a laptop. Used to have a laptop, not a PC, but laptop broke, and I upgraded to a PC because it was cheaper. I already had a desk, so I'm like, might as well. I can't really, travel with it anymore, but I don't do that very often anyway, so it's not too much of an issue. It hasn't been an issue at all, actually. I haven't traveled since I got this PC. Um, so, yeah. And then I got like my Switch and stuff over there. Got my old school stuff behind me there. You can kind of see the GameCube poking out there under the TV. Yeah. So I'm pretty set up, Got my mostly on that on Switch, YouTube, Hulu, watching anime, good stuff there. Don't use that one nearly as much. Mostly only have it on now because it's in the background. Might as well have it doing something somewhat interesting, make the stream a little bit better than just having it a black screen. I don't know. That's literally the only reason it's on is to make the background slightly more interesting. Um, yeah, I turn it on just for streams. Um, and yeah, right now it's just playing random episodes of Bleach, and I don't think it's in any real order. It's kind of all over the place. So yeah, I think it was Death Note earlier, but yeah, and then that one's just me. So you might be able to tell. It's like they're both like super white out. Like white balance is terrible. Um, yeah, I'm hoping I don't get copyright for that because, like, I mean, technically, I guess I could, but at the same time, like, man, that is not good quality. There's no audio, and it's only like, I mean, I guess it's like 70-80% of the video, but at the same time, like, it's super super white, and like the white balance is horrible, and it's grainy, and like it's far from a substitute for the original. It's so much lower quality. Like, yeah, like half the time you can't even see what's going on. So, yeah, and then that one I know I'm not going to get copyright for it because that's mine. Like that's literally my videos. The only one who could copyright me is me, and yeah, you can't do that. Dog is a companion, and Raven is familiar. Gotcha. Have you looked at the Arcane Hierophant prestige class from Races of the Wild? Have you looked at that, Sven? Because it sounds like you really, 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 really should take that and just make it one creature that is both your companion and your familiar, and get the benefits of both. And yeah, it's also gives a ton of other really good stuff too. Like it advances your casting for both your druid and your wizard, or I assume wizard. Maybe it's sorcerer, I don't know, but it advances both of them. Like it's such a good prestige class if you're doing that. Like I would really, really look into it if you haven't. Yeah, I would highly recommend going that from like 7th to 16th level if you have both of those things. Yeah, because just having them as one creature, so much better. Especially seeing as familiars kind of suck. Yeah, having an animal companion with all the abilities of the familiar, pretty useful. Yeah. I don't know, just an idea, man. Highly recommend. It's a really good prestige class. They can also get some other really cool stuff too beyond just that. So yeah, look into that. It's if you're doing a druid wizard hybrid, Arcane Hierophant is just amazing. Or if you want to add some rogue, take some levels of that and then mix it up with some freaking Folklore Lyrist. Or if you do like Bard and Sublime Chord, oof, that can be real powerful then. The share spells makes it possible to grant them both the effective spells like, for example, enlarged person will make us all one step larger, etc. Yeah, but you're still better off like combining them into one creature than having separate creatures. You really just don't get that much bang for your buck for the familiar on its own. And having those powers added to the animal companion just makes it way better. Yeah, I get your action economy goes down, but familiar isn't adding much to it. And having more options on the animal companion, yeah, very good. Yeah, it's just a really solid idea, and it ups your casting, and like you get like wood. I think you get like tree stride eventually and stuff. Like they get all sorts of really cool stuff. So yeah, just want to say highly recommend it. Yeah, it is a cool build, and yeah, if you go Folklore Lyrist on top of that, oof. Like one build that I thought would be really cool to do would be Druid Bard. So like you do like 3 Druid, then you do, so you would do 3 Druid and 2 Bard, and then you do 4 Bard, get you 7, and then you can do then you can do Arcane Hierophant. For like 3 levels in order to so then you do Arcane Hierophant for 3 levels, takes you to 9. Then you drop like 1 level of Rogue to grab Evasion. Then you grab Sublime Chord for a level. And then you go into Folklore Lyrist from there. And yeah, you can make a pretty strong build with that, in all honesty. Like really strong. At least I think that works. I can't remember. I think rogues get evasion at first level. Could be wrong. If you have access to the Book of Exalted Deeds, great book, by the way. You can gain a wild shape into a blink dog. I had a player do this, and it made it really hard to get them. Interesting. You do have to be good for that to work, though. It doesn't work if you're neutral or evil. Because Book of Exalted Deeds. I'm pretty sure literally everything in that book requires that. Yeah. I'd be very surprised if there's anything in the Book of Exalted Deeds. Well, there's probably a couple weird, odd exceptions that are for like evil things, but for the most part, like everything in the book requires good. Player's Handbook. That's what I was looking for. I grabbed my Book of Exalted Deeds while I'm at it because I'm here. Might as well. But yeah, I got up because I wanted to check on the rogue real fast. See if they get it. Oh, not Spark. Pink rogue. Oh, they don't get raid until second. Dang, well, that kind of sucks. So I guess you'd be 1 level behind. So you'd have to do rogue 2. And so yeah, put you behind slightly. Although you can just get a ring of evasion too. That's always an option. And then I think there's like other ways to get evasion. Let's look this up. I think there's got to be like a prestige class that gives evasion at first level. Version evasion first level. For standard based classes like the character passes with blah 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 blah. Yeah, shut up AI. Core rules, yeah. This evasion index. Have anything? Second. It's level. It's not giving anything. Yeah, this list is a little too hard to follow. PRC. Initiate of Draconic Mysteries is the primary prestige class that gets evasion at first level. Interesting. So apparently the Initiate of the Draconic Mysteries. Let's look that one up. I'm actually not super familiar with it. Initiate of the Draconic Mysteries. I once played a Druid Wizard, Mystic the Urge, and they were halfling with dog companion and cat familiar and large person worked really well. That's true, but there's no reason to go with Mystic the Urge when when you have the option of going Arcane Hierophant. Like, okay, if your DM isn't allowing splat books, sure, but like if it's an option, like as well. Let's see, requirements, concentration, jump, knowledge, tumble. That's actually decent alertness and power attack. Feet's kind of stuck. Language draconic. And they do get evasion at first level. Interesting. And all good saves. That's kind of nice. And what average base attack? That's not the worst. Okay, so I guess there's a way to make it work. Like, it's pretty feet heavy, but yeah, I mean, Druid 3, Bard 7, or not Bard 7, Bard 4, which brings you to 7. Then you take Arcane Hierophant. What was it? Arcane Hierophant 3. Yeah. Arcane Hierophant 3. I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to get my math all like working. So yeah, Druid 3, 4, 7. And then you would need 3 Arcane Hierophant to have enough Bard to qualify. For Sublime Chord. And I guess you could take, well, that's already 10. I did my math wrong earlier. That gets you Initiate of the. You could go with Initiate of Draconic Mysteries, or maybe you just get a Ring of Evasion, and then because that still puts you 1 behind, and then you can make a pretty good build especially if your DM allows Ring of Evasion. Make some pretty good stuff. Because you do need evasion in order to get Focal or Lyrist. But by doing this, you end up pretty strong. You end up with a pretty good base attack bonus. You end up with a pretty strong familiar companion, pretty good casting. Like, you end up with a pretty good, like, both the Urge and both the Urge and a Gish. So it's a really good Gish, the Urge. Exalted Wild Shape is the feat prerequisite. Wild Shape class ability Wild shape class level, page 42. Sure. A rogue gets evasion on second level. Yeah, it is second level. And I should open the book right side up. That probably helps. I'm like, I can't read this. It's upside down. And 42, what was it you said? Salted wild shape. Salted wild shape. Or were you saying salted wild shape is the feed prereqs? Okay. Salted wild shape, you can use your wild shape ability to take the form of a good aligned magical beast. Wild shape prereqs of wild shape class ability. Wild shaping class level 8th. Benefits, you can use your wild shape ability to turn yourself into a blink dog, giant eagle, giant owl, pegasus, or unicorn. Ooh, good variety. You can also turn into a celestial version of any animal you could normally transform into. At the DM's discretion, other magical beast forms might be available to you. In general, only creatures of a CR3 or lower are possible. You gain the extraordinary and supernatural abilities of the creature. This ability counts as a use of your wild shape ability and functions the same way. Interesting. Okay. That's kind of cool. Give you some more options. Rogue's second level, which, if you wanted, but the problem is that puts you 2 levels behind if you're taking that in terms of like being able to make everything work in the build. Like if you want to still like keep your casting like really good for optimization purposes, 2 levels of rogue kind of hurts a lot. So a ring of evasion in order to meet that last prereq for Folklore Lyrist. Yeah, often a good idea. But it just kind of depends on if your DM allows it. Otherwise, you'll probably have to take 2 levels of rogue, which not the end of the world. Another way you could do it, I mean, this isn't going to work for this case, but you could always do like Spell Thief. That's always an option because I think they get both evasion and a pretty decent amount of casting, so not a bad way to do it. Do that with a little druid, and you can make a pretty strong character. Although, wait, no, you still need bardic music. Dang, Folklore Lyrist is an interesting one. Like, it's like the hardest prestige class in the game to get into. Like, maybe not the hardest, but it's up there. But it's also really good because it's like, okay, well, you get full arcane casting, full divine casting, full base attack bonus, pretty decent hit dice. Every level adds to your bard level for bardic music. I think bardic knowledge. You also gain you also make it so you can cast spells. Like you can cast spells while in armor. For the druid side, like you can use metal armor, so that's pretty nice. There's some really cool it's really cool. Like it gets a lot of really good stuff, and like by combining it with Arcane Hierophant and Sublime Chord, it really can make for a really good build. You just need to use a Ring of Evasion to get that evasion class feature, because there's no real way to get evasion in the number of levels you need to not be like behind. And pretty strong build though. I haven't played it myself, but I've definitely thought about it, and I think I have a video on that particular build. So one of the better builds out there. 100% one of the better ones. the build that I'm working on making right now is going to be it's an interesting one because it's using a prestige class that isn't necessarily the greatest prestige class out there, but it really works for this build idea that I have, which isn't a super optimized one, but basically I'm doing Bard, Holy Liberator, and then I'm going to do Sublime Chord and Geomancer in order to. The DM already said that I can use Battle Blessing for my, all my spells that are of that level. So eventually all my Bard and Sublime Chord spells, I'll be able to cast as free actions and just automatically cast them not free, as swift actions. So I'll just get free quickening on all of my spells, which is pretty nice. The downside is, of course, having to have obtained second level paladin spells, and then on an arcane build that focuses on that. So it really restricts what you can do, but yeah, it's pretty strong with the DM allows it, and yeah, so that's kind of my build plan. And also I'm restricted to chaotic good, which is a thing, but whatever, not the craziest thing in the world. There's some really cool build ideas, like the Virtuoso. I haven't covered it yet, but I will be soon-ish. It's, I don't know, next few months probably. I personally like it a lot. It's one that I think works really, really well with Sublime Chord, because you can take 7 levels of Bard, drop 1 level of Virtuoso, and then take 2 other levels, which can be kind of anything, but probably want to keep them Bard related, like War Chanter or something like that. Maybe Seeker of the Song, I don't know. And then after that, you drop 1 level Sublime Chord at 11th level. You always want to try and get it at 11th level. That's just the earliest you can take it, and it's really optimal to take it then. And then after that, you take the other 9 levels of Virtuoso and have them all advance your Sublime Chord, which gets you really, really good casting. And yeah, you don't get casting advancement from Virtuoso at first level, but you didn't need it. The 7 levels of Bard was really all you needed for that. So yeah. About familiar, I wonder what I can let my Raven do. I know it can use my skill ranks, 5 ranks in knowledge history and 5 ranks in teaching. So I can let my Raven teach people to write or use or teaching. That's not a normal skill. My Raven speaks Common and can talk to. Ooh, the Raven can speak Common. That's unusual. That's a little unusual. I don't think they normally get that, do they? Or did I miss something in reading it? Hey, I just got back from eating. Surprised you're still on for a little bit. My schedule time is till 9. It's for 2.5 hours, and I've only been streaming for 2 hours and 28 minutes. So I got a solid minute and a half and a couple seconds left. So yeah, I'm going to be here for, it's going to be a while. No, I actually really do need to start wrapping things up. But welcome back, Everett. You caught me just before I was leaving, actually. So yeah, let me look that up, because I don't think Ravens get that. I could be wrong, but you got me curious about that one. If Ravens get speak 1 language of his master's choice as a supernatural ability, yeah, huh? That's cool. All right, well, makes sense. Hi, I'm from Alaska. Where are you located? I am West Coast, U.S., Nevada specifically. So, yeah. That's where I am. Yeah, you are in the big cold state, as most people know it. It's that one that's way over there. You got to go through like Canada to get there, or you can like or you can take a boat or a plane, and it's like really cold and like nobody lives there. And it's like it's so cold, like they freaking pay you to live there. Like literally, I've heard that you actually get a check. It's not a lot, but I've heard that the U.S. government does send everybody in Alaska like free money every year for living there. Canada does that too with like their northern territories, but yeah, Indiana here, nice. Yeah, it ain't really worth it, the money that they send, but it's a nice little bonus. So, but yeah, any American citizen can get like a small amount of free money from the government by just moving to Alaska. It's not a lot, but it is something. And Canadians can do it with the Northern Territories. But yeah, I have no idea how much it is. I'm pretty sure it's way less than the cost of living. I'm pretty sure like the money you spend on heating is considerably more. Like the amount extra you have to spend on heating every year is more than like what you make. But still, yep. Because yeah, Alaska be cold, yo. Raven familiar can speak a language. Yep, I saw that. You must be behind a minute on stream because yeah, but you are right. You do get to have it one in common is often a good choice. Although it can also be good to have it speak a different language. That way you can have like a secret language that you can communicate with your familiar in. So yeah, it's kind of your choice. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of the stream. We got one more left, guys. Only one more. I'm glad this was active the whole time. Man, last time I did this, which was last Wednesday, because I missed Friday because of health reasons. That last half hour was brutal. There's like freaking nobody in chat. I was literally just rambling to myself for half an hour. I really sucked. Not gonna lie. It's way, way better and way more fun for me when there's people here. You also have no sales tax in Alaska. We also have no pre-law sale. Nice. There's no sales tax. Yeah, Alaska's got some nice perks. As a guy, it does suck in a way because the guy to girl ratio is pretty bad there, from what I understand. A lot of dudes, not a lot of girls. Good luck finding a girlfriend in Alaska because, yeah, good luck. Alaska is close to Russia, sort of like kind of depending on what part. Up to 30 miles depends. Yeah, they don't look like they're close because Alaska's here and Russia's over here. Although I guess be reversed for you guys, but like, yeah, the world's tubular, so like, Alaska's here and Russia's right here. Like they're literally right next to each other. So, yeah, true story. Also, hey, you said you're from Denmark. Guess what? You share a border with Canada. That's just true. It sounds weird and made up, but nope. If you're from Denmark, you share a border with Canada. Because Iceland or because Greenland is technically part of, like, Greenland is not a country. It is like part. It's like part of Denmark, but it's like Denmark. Denmark doesn't really control it too much, but yeah, yeah. You do share a border. Denmark does share a border with Canada. There is one uninhabited island that is up in the middle. That half of it is Canada, half of it is Greenland, which is owned by Denmark. So, yeah, Canada. And so, yes, Canada shares a border with two countries, the U.S. and Denmark. Yeah. Anywho, I'm going to get off for now. I'll see you guys Wednesday, right back here, same time, same place here on this channel, in this room. This will be the last one that we do on Wednesday. until I hit 5,000 subscribers. Which, hey, you help me get to 5,000 sooner, we can get more of these streams going sooner. I don't expect it anytime soon though, but yeah, we still got the one Wednesday. This was gonna be the last one, but we had Fridays called off for mental health reasons, so we're doing I guess that one Wednesday, sort of. I guess this is technically the one from Friday, and then the one Wednesday is technically the one for today. But yeah, whatever. You guys get what I'm saying. But anyways, I will see you in 2 days for the final live stream that I'm doing here. And then I'll probably start streaming Baldur's Gate on Twitch. I should probably drop a link to my Twitch somewhere at some point. That'd probably be a good idea. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you.